Meeting called to order. Today is Tuesday, December 19th. It is now 7 p.m. Town Council meeting at Town Council Chambers, 1170 Main Street, West Warwick, Rhode Island. Prayer and Pledge of Allegiance are not on the agenda, but that's because the Sewer Commission meeting got canceled, so we'll still continue. John, will you lead us in prayer?
Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we come together this evening as devoted stewards, determined to lead and mindful of our purpose. Guide our hearts and our minds in the decisions that we make in all matters that come before us. Bless this meeting with your divine presence. Guide our actions as this council works to serve the best interests of the good people of West Warwick. Amen.
Just, I'd like to have a moment of silence for a dear friend, family, lifelong friend of the Padulas. Betty Bernero passed away, and I'd just like everyone to pass a few minutes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Licciardi?
Here.
Councilman Messier?
Here.
Councilman Padula?
Here.
Council Vice President D'Amico?
Here.
Council President Goslin?
Here.
There is a quorum. Public comment. Comments will only be addressed to the town council who will take them under advisement.
Public comment?
Anna Goldarisi, Carpenter Court. Just a quick thing for the future. Is it possible for the discussion, action, comments, or listings to have a little bit more description to them? There's one in particular tonight that is, it says Civic Center and Ice Rink. Now, I remember back in either May or June, we were supposed to get monthly reports on the progress going on in the Civic Center, and there's never been one revealed at any of these meetings. So I don't know if that's what this is. There's kind of like no description when these
So-
things are brought on.
So I could tell you, this is what the email said. Put this on the agenda, and it came from Councilman Licciardi. Civic Center Ice Rink, and that's all that was asked. So,
Well, as a suggestion in the future for everyone, when you put something up for discussion, can you give a little bit more information so people have a clue what might be discussed?
I can honestly say I did call Jay and ask him what it's
Well,
about,
yeah,
and he
I
said
mean-
he'll discuss it tonight, so that's...
Right. The reason I've gotten a lot of calls on this, like it's the hot topic, but I really don't want to go into it until my appointment's up. But Civic Center Ice Rink, or any other topic, I really don't want to put a ton of detail out on that, only because the way the society is right now is going to be blown up all over social media, and things will be discussed that won't even be part of the topic that I'm putting on. So I plan on discussing this in detail.
Okay.
If you want me to do it right now, I'll do it right now.
No, we'll
But-
save it for that time of the agenda.
No,
But that's,
again, this was just, you know, for,
Just to reiterate what Jason says, if we put something, if I myself put things and I don't explain why I want it there, that's my choice. I want to put it there because when I fire a shot at someone, I don't want them to have the shield ready. So it's sad to say, but they find out before this even hit the agenda. Different employees, and I received a dozen phone calls myself. So if they're prepared, they know what to ask, what to say, what they're gonna do. So the element of surprise sometimes is better than putting it out there, and believe me, we have your backs.
okay, this is,
oh, hang on
as
a
long
minute.
as we're sure on that.
Wait a minute. I don't,
Point of order, this is public comment.
This is public comment. She's made a comment.
yeah.
You don't have to respond. You can take what she asked under advisement, go on to the next matter, because now you're talking about the agenda item that you're not on.
No, I answered her question.
You guys okay?
I'm
good
fine.
with it?
I mean, if there's questions you have regarding the agenda item, when it's on the agenda item,
You can,
Happy to
we can-
answer 'em,
We'll let
yeah.
you discuss it at that time.
Oh, I didn't
On
think we were
topic.
allowed to discuss it when it was actually
Discussion
taking
action,
place.
we'll let you, as
Okay.
long as it's not repetitive.
Okay, good, thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Sir, just state your name and address for the record.
Robert Gilman, 9 Petty Drive. Just a piece of advice. I opened up the wine and beer lounge off Warner Providence Street. You guys got to have some kind of check, maybe a letter of some sort when a business owner wants to open a business in this town, because there's no direction. There's no step procedures, what we need to do, how we need to do it, who we need to call. We don't get a list saying, do these checklists in order so we can get it done. There is nothing in place at all. I've been chasing my tail for all week long, trying to get stuff done. I had the fire department come out. They come out and they check my stuff. They give me a hit list. 4 days later, they come back out, they check those things, and they find 4 more things they didn't find the first time, and they should have found the first time. I shouldn't be going through this 15 times in a row. It should be one time, fire department comes out, you need to do this, come back, you're all set. It shouldn't be 2 different people come out every single time, 2 different people every single time, and they don't know what the last person said. And there's no steps of licensing. Hey, you need to call the police, you need to call the fire, you need to call the building inspector, you need to call this. You guys just say, apply for the license, here's the application, and figure it out on your own. There should be some type of, like I was in the military, check in, check out sheet. You go through all these steps, you're complete, the last person signs on the bottom, says you're all set. We'll be out tomorrow with all the people that need to be inspected, and you'll be all set. Just a piece of advice. I think it needs to be done.
And I'm gonna reiterate to that also. Being a councilman, I didn't know how hard it was to open up a business in the town of West Warwick, because my family's been there for over 100 years. I've never went through the steps, per se. I was involved in a lot of businesses. I didn't own them. This one's one that I own, and I know what they're going through. If one department head don't show up, we blew a grand opening, the town shut down. Another instance, like Rob just said, to reiterate with him, you get 3 firemen that come in, and believe me, they did a great job, they did their job. But when 3 firemen come in, okay, you only gotta do A, B, and C. We do A, B, and C, and 3 more firemen come in, oh, you gotta do C, D, and E. Well, why wasn't that told? Why weren't we told that? Now I know all the complaints I've been getting, and I couldn't even think that it was, half of it was true, but believe me, that's true and more's true. So we have to sit at the table as a council and make it easier for the mom and pop shops to open up, because that's what made this town survive. Forget the big box stores where we're giving them 10 years breaks on taxes, and the little guy gets absolutely zilch. So I went through an experience that I wouldn't want anybody else to go through, and it has to stop. I'm gonna end it at that.
Thank you, Angelo. Any other public comment?
Good evening, gentlemen. John Reed, 62 Andrews Avenue. I both have Brian Moyle with me. This has nothing to do with my litigation, so Mr. Williamson, this is a whole separate matter. Okay? Start off with my councilman. 3 days before the last council meeting, I asked him to put something on the agenda. He said he couldn't get it on. Okay, no problem. Have him come to my house. Explain to him in detail what I need. He agrees with me. I'm not on the agenda. What purpose do I have a councilman?
With this specific issue, I'm still looking into how we can put it on the agenda. I did speak with
Same way
Tim.
you put a Christmas tree on the agenda.
Correct. It's a little bit more of a complicated issue that you're asking for than to put a Christmas tree on the agenda, sir.
Want me ready for your tax relief?
Okay.
That's how you put it on the agenda. Not rocket science. Okay, my next issue. I've gone through ungodly things with this town. Mr. Williamson has been an inspiration to me the last few weeks. So I had people that I've employed go through files, property files, land files. Okay? You people are about to become shocked at what goes on here. Okay? Your own documents. Mr. Williamson said I can't get them for 20 days. There's only 7 pieces of paper. Is that correct? Well, you sent me a letter. Okay? Then through these meetings, Mr. Godwin been kind of going off the edge. Okay? I don't know you personally. obviously are well, but you need to present yourself a little more professional.
Thank you for the advice.
And I need to show people something, okay? You have to excuse me, my blood pressure's not well. Mr. Garland, you don't need it because you wrote it.
I wrote it.
Can you read that to me, Mr. Abdul?
Yep, I'll read it. Does anyone think Jay Messier and Dave Goslin should resign from the town council of West Warwick for bad leadership? No direction, dirty politics. Town needs change of tough fiscal times. Now, once I read this, I'll get you my copy also. Brian doesn't live in town. Brian is a puppet for his good friend Derek Reed. Just watch the last 6 months of council meetings. It's always a conspiracy with the Reeds. Yes, the Reeds do a lot for the town. They want to blame the town for a land deal that they feel is wrong and that they bought from a distant cousin of mine. They called me numerous times to help resolve it. They even said they may even sue the town. My response was, you gotta do what you gotta do, and I did say that right to your face. If you wanna see land in question that is locked, they have no access, they can't build on it, which they can. Since I could not resolve it, I was told to stay away from them because they will turn on me. I put that in parentheses, and they have. But my willingness to try to help got in the way. Watch all the meetings and decide for yourself. You can see the land on Industrial Lane. By the way, if such a bad deal, previous seller offered to buy it back. But what you're missing here is when he called me a criminal, when he said I was criminal wrongdoing, I got all of it right here.
That's fine.
I got
You
all of
are a
it.
town official,
Yep.
okay? You are held to a higher standard than the rest of them,
Okay,
okay? You are.
but I'm supposed to be
You
called.
have to control
but
yourself.
Mr. Reed,
Okay.
I'm not gonna be called a criminal
Then
in
you
criminal
don't
acts.
out of it. You
You
do
know
not
what?
do that in
I did
public.
have a
All right.
conversation with them
All
prior.
right, can we move along?
No, I'm,
Okay,
all
and you
right,
do
I'm done.
not put people's names on public media, okay? My own children don't put my name on Facebook. Okay, you have no right to put anybody's name or what you think about them on Facebook
Yep.
as a public official. Can you deny that?
Don't say it.
Don't say no.
Sure,
It's all
sure,
public
it's your
comment.
opinion.
Take it under advisement,
Public comment.
okay? Public comment.
Not public debate.
Now, next issue. Yeah, this is getting, going back to the documents that we requested, right? There are properties in this town that are built, okay, occupied. There's no permits, no inspections, no fire permits, no fire inspections. Okay, it's all been verified. Okay?
I got mine.
And there's a file that I requested, okay? Little did anybody know I already had the 7 pieces of paper, but I wanted the rest of them. Mr. Williamson sent me a letter, and because of the holiday season, everybody must be on vacation, I can't get these pieces of paper. First of all, I'm not asking for legal documents. I'm asking for property documents. Mr. Williamson has no right to divert those papers. He's fair to give legal counsel, not to tell the clerk, the janitor, what to do. That's in your charter, not mine. He is here as your legal representative, not to run the town hall. Just public comment. Want to take over?
Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold, so I apologize. Mr. Town Council President, members of the Town Council, Mr. Town Manager, Ms. Town Clerk, Mr. Town Solicitor, and members of the audience, my name is Brian Matthew Morio, for the record, and I reside at 132 Rollingwood Drive, North Kingstown, Rhode Island. I have been retained by John and Derek Reed to investigate records in the Town Hall because I'm a landscape architect and have a lot of experience doing so. I've testified before many town councils, including the City of East Providence, the City of Providence, City of West Warwick, Town of Johnston, many planning boards, many zoning boards, and have a good deal of knowledge of how to find documents in the Town Hall. My landscape architect license number is 396. I'm here this evening, as Mr. Reed pointed out, to present this town council with a very complicated paper trail. However, before I start, as you may or not know, Derek Reed filed through the town clerk's office a public records request form on December 11, 2017. On December 18th, yesterday, after we showed up at the town hall that morning, Derek received a letter from the town solicitor saying they cannot provide all the documents within the 10-day period and requested an additional 20 days, which is allowed under the state statute. What all of us are confused about is why the town solicitor even needs to review said documents, as none of them are a legal manner, which is that, from my understanding, is what triggers his services to be engaged as town solicitor. The documents we are looking for should be in an enclosed file because the project was built and a CO was granted in July of 2017. So before I continue with the documents, can the solicitor please guide us, because we can't seem to get guidance from reading the town charter or anyone in the town hall, what is the trigger point for the town solicitor's services on behalf of the town council, or anyone in the town for that matter?
So I will answer a little bit of that.
You don't have to.
No, I'm going to.
It's public comments, not public.
And that's
He's
fine.
asking a question, I'll answer that. So when somebody does a public, and I've questioned Mary Ann on this, and I still have some concerns with it. So when somebody comes in and does a request of documents,
Mhm.
the town clerk would get that.
Mhm.
The town clerk would ask for the opinion of, can they or can I not give them, because some people come in, ask for stuff with social security numbers on it and whatever
Totally
else.
understand.
So it's under direction, he would say, you need to redact this, this, and this, and so on and so forth. At that point, it's up to the clerk to get it out to you.
Is that on
Now,
all
can
public
I
records
ask before I
requests?
go any further?
Sure.
This document that you requested, can you tell me what it was?
Absolutely. We sought the file for a property owned in Industrial Lane
Yep.
in the town of West Warwick.
Mhm.
We were trying to determine on a hunch whether the entire file was completed or whether there were documents missing. So now I'll continue. Now to the real reason why we're here. On a hunch, as I just said, Derek and I visited town hall and formally requested the documents referenced above from the town clerk's office, who was very kind and very cooperative. In addition, we visited both Mark Carullo, the town planner, and the building official's office to find out what is required for a building permit application on the document it states.
Wait,
So,
I'm getting confused here.
Yep.
1 minute, excuse me. First of all, why did you put in for a records request when that's all public information that any taxpayer could come here, go to the building official? If I wanna know who built the house next door to me, I don't have to put in a request for public information when that is public information without a request.
so to answer your
So am I
question.
right?
Yes, and to answer your question bluntly, because the file that we saw in front of us was not complete, documents were missing, we wanted to file a public records request to see why those documents were not in the file. Does that answer your question, sir?
No, I understand.
Understood. So this is a document we received from the building official. It's pretty much verbatim what the town charter says as to what you need for a building permit in the town of West Warwick. And I'm not going to bore you all with it. You can certainly read it. It's public record. It's pretty cut and dry. We then asked the building official's office if we could see the file for subject property at 41 Industrial Lane. They were very kind and provided a copy of everything in the file, which we have copies of here this evening. The total file, as John stated, consists of 7 pages, plus copies of the building plans. They were 30 by 42 sheets. We didn't bring those here tonight, but they're up there. Excluded from the file, but not limited to, are a detailed site plan, which is required to secure a building permit, drainage calculations to secure a building permit, a stamped landscape architect's plan for a landscape plan, which is pursuant to Rhode Island state statute, a fee certificate if the property is located in a floodplain, the property abuts Patuxent River, final inspections on all components, including no fire inspection or permit secured to date. So the timeline is as follows. On May 24, 2016, Mr. Jared Nudes filed a building application for a foundation permit, for a foundation plan as Nunes RT and Son as a registered contractor number 5188. However, no record of a permit is contained in the file, just the application. On July 8, 2016, Jared Nudes filed as a homeowner, first time as a contractor, second time as a homeowner, with no registration number on the permit application. Once again, no permit number. Now, the Contractors Registration Board, that's a whole separate issue, but we'll get into that in a bit. On August 10th, 2016, a building permit was issued with the request on the permit of a steel wrecking inspection, insulation inspection, and final inspection with, on the permit that's upstairs, no inspections were recorded on file. On or about August 20th, 2016, Jared Nudes submitted the plans to the fire department. The fire department reviewed the plans. They approved the plans. No permit was sought on the plans. No inspections have been done to date. On or about August 30th, the plumber for the project filed for a plumbing permit application with no copy of the permit in the file, and no final inspection was granted to date. On September 6, 2016, the electrician filed an electrical permit application with no final inspections in the file, and this is the one that just caught my eye. On the permit application that he saw, the electrical inspector specifically wrote, it states on the application that the inspections are required for permit to be valid. On July 27, 2017, a certificate of use and occupancy was issued with no registration number, no plan number, listed as storage when it is multiple garages and an office, and most importantly, no fire inspections were done. So my questions are, does this bother any of you as public officials, particularly that Jared Nunes was given a CO without doing what is required per the town charter, per the town building code, and the state building code? I ask which one of you is going to contact the Rhode Island Fire Marshal to have the building shut down immediately. It is a public safety issue. I ask which one of you is going to contact the Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management to see that the stormwater runoff plan, keep in mind this property is directly on the Patuxent River. I ask which one of you is going to contact Mr. Nunes and ask him why he should be held to a higher or lower standard, however you see it, than any other taxpayer in the town. In summary, the only reason we are here tonight is to provide a public record of fraud, since that is what Mr. Nunes and his attorney, Mr. Campbell, Mr. Williamson knows that name, accused the Reeds of in the ongoing litigation with the town as well as foreign properties. This is only the beginning, as we filed additional public records requests on other properties and other issues that Mr. Nunes is illegally invoked in. Like, just out of curiosity, do you think it's right that Mr. Nunes, a state representative, rents this building that we're talking about, as well as another building, to a contractor that primarily does state work? To me, that seems like a conflict of interest. But I'm not a lawyer, and I'll leave that to the legal minds. Believe me, I could go on and on tonight. There is plenty of corruption that has taken place. It's overwhelming to put before all of you tonight. But rest assured, I will update the distinguished council as I learn more. I remind everyone that as we speak, we have people that are sending emails to the Rhode Island State Police, the Attorney General, the American Civil Liberties Union, many other state agencies. So if the file all of a sudden becomes completed between tonight and tomorrow morning, before this is public, we're cutting that off immediately. Thank you for allowing me to speak, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you.
Hey, hang on, I know you asked a lot of questions.
Well,
I'm not looking to answer
Can I
them,
just,
but I have a question myself.
because of the litigation, he fully was
Okay.
very open about litigation and what's going on between the Reed family and the Nunes family. All right, my suggestion is not to say a word.
But let me,
He's got unsubstantiated allegations.
let me ask you a question.
That's of his own opinion. If you
That's
say anything
right.
right now that could hurt the town's ability
I'm
to
not gonna
properly
talk about,
litigate this matter.
I'm not concerned about what Mr. Reed and Mr. Nunes are accusing each other of. Like I said before, my concern is what's not in litigation about permits. I've been an expert on permits in the last 4 weeks. So COs have to be signed off by police. I find it very hard to believe, and I'm not calling you a liar. Believe me.
Angelo, I welcome you to find him. If you find him,
I
have a coffee and a dinner on me.
How, no, then I gotta turn it into the ethics
I
that one of these
understand.
guys
I
might turn me into. But my concern is, Ernie, how, forget the litigation, forget all that, whatever it is, whether it's nonsense to people or not, it'll be decided in court. But how does someone get a CO without getting signed off by police, fire, building, electrical, and plumbing? So I find it hard to believe that there was a CO issue.
Just my opinion, Ernie, I think you should meet with Chris and find out everything that's going on, get with the building official. August was, when did he start, our building official? I know it was,
I can tell you that this
Year ago.
building, the CO, I believe, is George Dumont, the current building official?
Yep.
Okay.
When was that signed?
This was signed July, 27, 2017. That's when the CO was
2000 what?
17. Now, the original building permit application started back in 2016. So,
George wasn't with us in 16.
The judge
you gotta do
started
the final, that's it.
November of
All
7.
right, we'll go from there, thank you.
yeah, I just wanted you all to know that.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas.
Same to you.
Any other public comment? All right, moving on.
Reports, town managers report.
Thank you and good evening. Just sort of following up on our the motor vehicle phase out, or the motor vehicle reimbursement from the state. The last time I spoke, the tax bills, the revised tax bills for motor vehicles were going to be issued in early December. They were, and they are out, and they will be due and payable January 1st through the 15th. The revised bills, the lower bills. The next step is to process the refunds that are due for anyone who may have paid in advance, and that's a process that will be ongoing. There are 6,868 refunds due for a total dollar amount of $232,848.68. Some of those are for a little over $1, some could be for $100, it varies. So it'll be a process to get those out. It'll have to be done in waves and batches to process them and then to stuff them in envelopes and send them out. But that process will be ongoing. So that will be the final task in this process. Also want to mention just an update on the issues we've had with PRISM. They are getting better, but still there are some issues outstanding. One of the main issues that we're looking for is a complete listing of every service request that we have with a status and disposition of it. That will help us going forward to make sure that our 5-day window is a business day window of most routine repairs is being done. So that's an ongoing process. We've withheld payment from November and December, and hopefully in January we'll be getting the report that we're looking for, and then we can move forward with that. So those are my issues for tonight.
Any questions for the manager? Thank you.
Finance update report.
Good evening, councilors. I provided you with a year-to-date budget report through November. It's kind of a starting point for us. I want to work with you and get your input and get an idea of what you would like to see on a monthly basis. I highlighted a few different lines that are trending, high, where we're going to expect to see them come over budget. And I provided some explanations. Some that are the overtime for fire and police are trending high. Education expenses for police and fire are trending high, and that's under state law that we have to pay for that. Severance pay, trending very high. So I highlighted a few things, and I pointed out our revenues are right now trending on target, but a lot of taxpayers pay their bills in full the first quarter, well, many. So it kind of makes the allocation a little bit higher in the beginning of the year. It'll trend down towards the end of the year. But does anyone have any questions on the report I provided you?
I'll be honest, Christine, I didn't even
Didn't get a chance to look at it?
get a chance to look at it, but I will.
Okay.
It's no surprises, we've been talking about police and fire, especially fire overtime's been high, it was expected to be high. The education piece, that's a little bit of a surprise to me. Revenue's on target, we're getting there into January, so
Yeah.
that'll be our 6-month
Right.
review. These, what I say, petty storms, 1 to 3 inches happening after hours, except for one, you know, that's gonna hurt us in a budget too, especially, we already have 3 and the winter's not even here until Thursday. So we have to look at, you know, where we're gonna stand with that. The only thing is, what's nice about this and seeing this in front of us is, and where we're over, is we can stop being proactive now
Correct.
and not in August. So, you know, and I know Ernie has put together some plan of action that he wants to talk to us about that you guys are working on, and how we're gonna curb those over expenditures. So I'm sure there's more to come within the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
Anybody have any questions for Christine? Thank you, Christine.
You can stay there too.
Yeah.
Proposed FY19 budget timeline?
Where'd it go? I think it's stuck. So I provided a outline similar to what you got last year at this time. Basically updating the dates for the fiscal year 2019 budget timeline.
Pull it out. You can turn it. See it?
It's backwards.
You turn it.
No, you turn it.
No, turn it, goes the other
It
way.
goes the other way.
I gave him mine.
I already
It's
tried
okay.
it.
Tilt your head a little bit.
Hey, I'm trying to help you.
So basically, this just outlines where, you know, different targets we need to hit for the budget. You know, December, January, the departments will be meeting with the town manager and finance, pulling their budgets together. First draft submitted by the first Monday in February. And then you kind of go down and we'll have our meetings, joint meetings with the council. And then budget submitted to council no later than the third Monday in March, so I put March 19th. And then we'll have our public hearings. So I don't have you guys had a chance to look at it, make sure the dates seem okay?
I see you have a lot of, mostly Tuesdays and Mondays. Then you have,
Mondays are usually, I think those are just the by date, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
budget documents due by,
Mm-hmm,
and then most of the workshops are on Tuesday nights.
Yes.
Which I think the council has always
Yeah.
been able to do Tuesday nights.
yeah,
So we have a timeline basically from February 5th till June 14th.
correct.
So it's working 6 months in advance. Any questions for Christine on that schedule? I mean, and obviously during the schedule, if we run into a bind or whatever, that we need to move things around, we can do so.
Yeah, exactly, it can be tweaked.
Any questions for Christine? Thank you, Christine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Christine, and to the council, in the future,
Kristen.
when you do these financial reports.
You have to come to the mic, just.
I say Christine too, I mess up.
Kristen,
because
I'm sorry.
Christine,
In the future, can we maybe get the financial papers we're talking about on the screen up there so that the public can know what you guys are talking about while you're talking about it?
Yeah, they're also on the agenda online too, if you need to
Yeah,
print
I
it out.
know, I
No, if you want,
would
I'll
have
just.
printed it ahead of
yeah.
time if I'd known it wasn't gonna be available when we came here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Christine, yell at me when I call you Christine.
Same thing. I get it mixed up.
Ward reports?
5,
A few things going on. One, There is a meeting tomorrow night for Crompton Meadows in Coventry Planning Board. If you've been following it at all, the developers were going to put forward a proposal for single-family homes. They were going to move away from the condominiums. That was never put forward. Apparently, they are claiming, the attorney is claiming that Coventry Planning has dropped the ball on this, and that they want to know if the original master plan will be accepted or not. So I guess the town is going to press that tomorrow night. So that should be interesting. Also, the condo development along Greenbush and East Greenwich Ave, phase 1 has begun. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to call me or email me. I'd be glad to either meet with you or discuss what's taking place there.
Four?
A few things, quick hitters. I'd like to welcome Tumbletown 2 officially to Ward 4. Brand new laundromat, very creative, very clean. I was in there yesterday. Welcome, go get a chance, check it out.
I was there last week.
There's been reports, and Dave and I had spoken about this over the weekend, that there are some homeless people that are living back in the Pulaski Street, quote, tent city. That is not true. And I looked into that over the weekend. I'm pretty involved with this now. There aren't many homeless living in West Warwick, believe it or not. The committee that we had set up last year is on top of that. Less than a dozen, I can tell you, which is pretty good. But in Ward 4, in the Pulaski Street area, there are signs up for no trespassing. I've spoken with Chief McGarrett and the landowners. It's not a hotel down there. The people were there before we came in, before I was elected. There was an issue. We handled the issue, and a lot of good things came about that. We already spoke about it at the last few meetings, but I'm not looking to do that again. So just to let you know, I haven't seen anybody. I haven't heard of anybody. The other issue that I'd like to bring up, and Mr. Roach brought it up, he's been bringing it up to me, and I'm not quite sure what to do about it, is trash. And I'm not talking about littering. I'm talking about people physically dumping trash in certain areas. And in this case, and it's not limited to just Ward 4, but it's that spot on Pulaski
Yeah, the
Street,
left-hand side.
on the left-hand side, as you go up towards the bridge, it's just been a dumping zone. And I know what we've been doing, and it really bothers me that DPW has to waste time and go down there, whether it's a truck or a backhoe, whatever it is, to pick up somebody else's garbage. And it's blatantly wrong. It's not like somebody throws a cup out the window.
Didn't we discuss
You know-
possibly being able to put a camera there?
That's come on board. I am going to be looking into something. I do want to get, I don't want Dave Lombardi to be able to coast out of here. But I want to get with Dave maybe this week and talk about, Dave did a lot of research on a camera, and I'm still for that camera. I know it's quite a bit of money, but if there's something we can do to get that money back because of that, I think it'll be all worthwhile. Because right now, we're spending a lot of money each time that DPW has to send a truck out with, 2, 3, 4 men, have to come back, dump the truck. If we put a dollar amount on that over time, it might be the cost of a camera. So, I don't know if anybody, it's not just in Ward 4. So, I don't know if that's something that we want to discuss for the future. But it's happening right now, and it's really, it's dirty.
Well, we got budget season coming up in February, we can start talking about it then, if you wanna put it on the budget, or, right now, as you just seen, Kristen said there's a lot of, over expenditures right now, and, we have to figure out where we're gonna get that from. It's gonna be very tight between now and June. And why we're working on one budget, we're also
Yeah, I
spending
know,
on
I
another,
get it,
so
I
we're
get
gonna have our hands full. So, I agree with you, cameras do work, hopefully, if you do catch them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wouldn't they offset the cost if we catch, a couple of them?
Yeah, it would, but the problem is right now, trying to get, where you're gonna get the money from in the budget. So in other words, if
Rainy
Dave
day
Lom-
fund.
Well, no, if Dave Lombardi says.
Seriously.
What is it?
Seriously.
Hold on. if Dave Lombari says, I can get these cameras and I can take it out of this part of my budget, or, you know, I can't say snowfall because it's been 3 already, 3 or 4 little storms. But if something comes of that where he could save money, you know, he can look at it that way also. So there are ways, and we just need to get together and figure it out.
All right.
Bert?
Bert Mollahan, Monterey Drive. Mr. President, why not do a metal sign like we have in the gazebo, warning people first before you go to the cameras, and try a metal sign, maybe 2 or 3 of them, say, people will be prosecuted, this area is under surveillance, and it might work, and it won't cost that much to put the signs up and see what happens.
Those signs are all over North Pleasant Street, on the Cranston side, in West Warwick side, no dumping, $500 fine, prosecution. Guess what's the biggest area in my ward? North Pleasant Street. It's, in my wetlands on the other side of my property.
Even with a
There's
sign
no
up?
dumping sign there. Yep. Bert, it says no dumping, just like a stop sign. Does everybody stop for a stop sign? If they're gonna dump, and they're gonna do it,
Yeah.
not the nicest people dump. So a sign will not work. There were signs when Mr. Messier owned the property, Bob Messier over there. He couldn't stop it. I remember in 2006, he was at every council meeting telling us, guys, there's people dumping on my property. He watched them dump on the property. You gotta catch them, and that's the
Yeah.
only way you can
It's
do
the
it.
only way.
It's the only way. Signs are great if people listen to them. But the people who are dumping aren't listening to those signs.
Well, it did work over at the gazebo when the kids were skateboarding over there. They are
Skateboarding was
doing
one
it.
thing, but we also had a police department, police chief. I remember Paul Villa physically walking up the street, throwing them out of there. The police officers would pull up, throw them out of there if they were skateboarding. That's why they're no longer skateboarding there.
Yeah, I know that.
Well,
Just a suggestion.
thank you, Bert. Last comment on this one. Pete?
Good evening, Councilman. Pete Cottrell, 25 to Whitney Street. I'd like to address one thing that you brought up, Councilman, is the tent city. What's going to happen with all the stuff that was left behind? Now, I myself, when I go on excursions with another taxpayer in the town, and
I'll check it out and get back to you.
that is,
How's that?
that's absolutely, I don't know how you're going to, I mean, there's mattresses in the riverbed. I don't know how you're going to get out.
Hang on a minute. Just because there were people down there, it doesn't mean that it was all their stuff that was there. So, yeah, I'm not,
I can
listen, I'm
agree
not
with-
saying,
right,
I'm
right,
not
I
saying yes or
understand what
no. I'm saying I'll check it out, I'll get back to you.
It's
Fair-
just something
fair enough?
that's, I mean, that's atrocious down there. I mean, we walked in there and, as a matter of fact, it was the day the town was down there, they had a payloader, they had a dump truck down there, and we just went, I mean, the beer cans. I mean, if you wanted to make 5 cents a can, there's some good grabbings down there.
I'll check it out and get back to you.
Thank you, Pete. Anything else before?
Jay, can I add something before? Somebody just messaged me. I told them to contact you. It's not like a controversial topic. It's a safety issue, so I want to bring it up now. They messaged me about some kids that went from the pier over to the ice last night thinking it was frozen. And I just, with the pier there, maybe it's something to look into, maybe it's signs. Or I gave the gentleman your number. He's going to contact you. But if any kids are watching, don't go on the ice.
Ice
It's
is not
moving.
safe.
It's
Ice
moving
is
over
never
there.
safe.
It's never cold enough. The ice behind they were out there when it was cold 2 or 3 days ago. They were out there. And the gentleman went out there and got them off the ice. But
Ice is tempting.
it's very dangerous
especially
over
for
there. That
kids.
area, the current is moving behind where the pier is. So just if any kids are watching the meeting, I don't know how many kids watch the meeting, but all right.
3?
3. I just want just one item. The Christmases had their distribution this past week. They helped out over 400 families. Great organization to help out any West Warwick families with children 13 and under. Manny Murray, Joe Gemma, the whole crew over there did an awesome job. So I just want to commend them for doing an awesome job helping out local West Warwick families. So if you're dropping the money in the boot after Thanksgiving, 100% of that money went to the Christmases organization. They collected $12,000 just in those 2 days. So great job to Christmases and everybody that donated money and their time. Thank you.
2, basically, a couple of quick things. I know I sent out an email to Mark Carullo and group. There is blasting going on in Ward 2, but it's not in West Warwick side. It's actually the Cranston side. And everybody thinks it's the condominiums that are being built on North Pleasant Street. He is not permitted to blast. He is actually still jackhammering. I can tell you every morning, 7:30, that's my new alarm clock. They are jackhammering. The Cranston side where they're putting the solar farm, they are blasting, and they are permitted. I did reach out, checked with Cranston. Sirens do go off, and all of a sudden, from Cranston to Phoenix Ave to Main Street, just shakes. And let me tell you, the first time I felt it, I thought there was an earthquake coming through. So, just want to give everybody a heads up in Ward 2 that is going on. This really has nothing to do with Ward 2, but more, I know I talked about my daughter and doing well, it really is Ward 2 because Lynn St. Germain is my constituent. But Brian St. Germain, my daughter actually did the Toys for Tots fundraiser for in memory of Brian St. Germain, and she collected almost 200 toys, I think a little under 200 toys in a 3-week span, and she delivered them to Lynn St. Germain. And Lynn, ironically, put a little thing on Facebook, and and if anybody saw the box out here, it had Brian's picture and it said in memory of Brian St. Germain. She put my wife and her put the box in the back of her car, and when Lynn got in the driver's seat, as she was driving away, she looked in the rearview mirror and there was her son's face. And she posted that, and I gotta say, I wanna thank Sherry Faria, the Panini Club, Emile in JMB Lavoie, the Town Hall, Matos Bakery, JC Butcher Shop, I know Let's Dance on Cohasset Avenue. I wanna thank all them businesses for letting a 15-year-old girl run with this, and you know, and just seeing what she did for Lynn, it was really touching, and you know, and not even because it's my daughter. If that was any teenager that's doing that and taking their time and getting this done, and seeing why she did it for Brian St. Germain, that's even more touching. So, you know, congratulations to her. She doesn't want any, I can tell you right now, she didn't want pictures taken, she didn't want nothing, she wanted zero recognition, and she even told Lynn that, but as a father, I'm kind of proud, and I'm going to give her a little bit of recognition. One?
Dave, I know you told me I got almost 100 grand left in my road bond money. I drove through the ward. There's got to be a few more roads. I mean, Ward 1, almost every road between the water company and the road bond money, last time and this time, it looks gorgeous. We probably have the best roads in town. If you see, while your guys are traveling around, anything that needs it, I would like for springtime to give them a list to do away with that, or we can find other things to do besides roads with it. So I would appreciate that. Number 2, I asked, what's the holdup on the solicitor's contract?
Yep.
It's supposed to be on the agenda. I heard it was ready 7 weeks ago. I would like to see that on the next agenda.
Talk about that.
And I'm gonna say a little bit about the business that I'm opening. Numerous calls. First of all, I probably lived in this town longer than anyone on this council, and know more into the politics scene than anyone. So right away, I know I'm under the radar gun. So there would be no reason for me to try and save $50 or $75 by not getting a permit. So before I started, I just want this on record. I called the building official. I told him what we were doing, what kind of work was going to be done. He looked at it before. He looked at it during the progress. The electrical inspector came, looked at it. I even had, and Chief, thank you for you guys, I had the fire come down, see what I needed. I had that all under control. All the permits, I needed 0 permits, 0. because there was no structural things, no electrical work, changing a light bulb, somebody turned me in that, the sign, the latest thing was the signs. First of all, I have records that them signs were put up over 20 years ago. It's an existing sign. No, I did not get a sign permit. So I'm opening up a cheese place so all the mice can come and eat the cheese. I'll treat them to it. But the sign, all we did was change the face of the sign. We took Kiku's name down and we put Unwind Beer and Lounge up. No permits necessary, so anyone, all you gotta do is call me. You don't have to call the building official. Don't have to use an anonymous name. Just call me. I mean, I know that they're all focusing on me because I don't play the games that other people play, and I have a little bad taste in my mouth. So, did I get any permits? No, I did not. Did I need any permits? No, I did not. So if anyone has a question, want to send whoever you got to send down or call me, I'll explain it. Even council members, you want to know what I'm doing, call me up. You don't have to call the building official or Mark Carullo or Ernie. Call me. They know me good enough. Don't worry about somebody else saying I said something about you because it's a lie. I tell you to your face. So anybody that knows me knows what I'm about. And no, I did not get any permits. Did I break any laws? Absolutely not. That's all I'm gonna say. I want it on record. Yeah, Tommy, come on up.
When are we opening?
Well,
It took us 3 weeks to get the permits.
yeah,
Or the CO.
very shortly.
Ernie, will you just comment on the solicitors thing?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I have the final draft of the solicitor's contract. I'm going to make some revisions, and I will get those out to the council for the next meeting.
Thank you.
While we're at it, just going back to road bond money, Dave, I know this is basically you're in your final week and a half. Can we make sure that we're with Kristen and we have the road bond money organized so there's no surprises after you leave? Thank you.
Minutes of the previous meeting. Resolved that the minutes of the December 5, 2017 executive session and December 5, 2017 town council meeting are hereby accepted.
Move the resolution.
Second the resolution.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Consent agendas, license applications. Resolved that the consent agenda having been posted, all matters being referred to proper departments and being disposed of or awaiting recommendation, the same is hereby approved.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? Any public discussion on the licenses? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Those licenses that have been approved, Finish Line Printers, Ocean State Printers, Samsara Wellness, Automated Auto Sales, Robert Wiley, Wiley Consulting Group, all renewal business licenses and all pool table licenses have been approved.
Controlled substance and alcohol testing.
I would like to take no action on
Sorry.
this item. This item's gonna be on the second agenda in January. If we could take this off, only because the trust wants to be here also, and we need some more
Okay.
information on this.
So we need a motion to table.
Motion to table.
Not even table, take no action, take
No
it off the
action.
agenda, we'll put it back on, so it's not on the next agenda.
Okay. Additions and cancellations of taxes. Resolved that the attached additions in the amount of $1,983.52 and cancellations in the amount of $860.03 presented to the tax assessor for approval of the town council in accordance with Article 25, Section 5 of the West Warwick Code of Ordinances is hereby approved. The original list is on file in the office of the tax assessor.
I'll move the resolution.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion?
Yeah, just one clarification. What is Soldier Sailor Act? What is that?
That's where it's definitely to provide service or process on an individual, and if they're actually in the service, everything's basically stated. You can't get service or process on.
I just never seen it on there, that's all, I just had the question, I didn't know what it was.
Any other comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Appointments, appointment of the for the West Warwick Housing Authority, previously tabled. Resolved that the town council hereby appoints the following individual to serve as a member of the West Warwick Housing Authority for the town of West Warwick with a term to expire 11/2022.
We need
First
a
of
motion.
all, I'll make a motion to take it off the table.
A second.
To take it off the table, hold on, no, Elaine, don't worry. This is so we can discuss it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now I'll move the resolution for discussion.
Moved and.
I'll second.
Okay, so, I think Eileen is here. I didn't get a chance to speak to her this week, but I did speak to a couple of residents in, Clyde Towers. I also got to speak to, West Warwick Housing, Authority, Steve, Steve O'Rourke. And, Eileen does a lot for Clyde Towers. She's always involved with cooking meals there, involved with the residents, involved with everything. She was away. She actually just came back into town today, so that's why we didn't get a chance to speak. But I was able to talk to other members and other people that have dealt with her, and I think she'd be a good addition to the Housing Authority. So I would personally move the name of Eileen McNeils.
I'll second it.
With that being said, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Eileen, good luck and thank you for your service, and I look forward to working with you.
Good luck.
Okay. Discussion action, 1 speed limit sign sponsored by Councilman Padula.
Yes, I had this on last agenda, and I was told that it had to go to the state. I asked Al DeFiore to look into it, and I'm gonna find that right now, where this is a town issue. It's not a state issue. I got 100 emails, so just be patient 1 minute. I'm gonna read the law.
Somebody taking money out? Can they take a little extra for me?
Angelo, at your request, I have reviewed the state statute regarding a municipality's ability to set speed limits lower than the miles per hour by the state statute. Rhode Island General Laws, Title 31, Chapter 14 governs these matters. Rhode Island General Laws 31-14-2 set speed limits that shall be prima facie evidence of what is considered the proper speed limit in various sections. Sets 25 miles an hour as the speed limit in any business or resident district. 31-14-5, reduction by local authorities of speed limits at local intersections and street within business or resident districts. Whenever local authorities within their respective jurisdictions determined upon the base of an engineering and traffic investigation that the speed permitted under this chapter at any intersection or local street within a business or residence districts is greater than the reasonable or safe under the conditions found to exist at that intersection or local street within the business or residence districts, the local authority subject to section 31-14-8 state highways shall determine and declare, excuse me, a reasonable and safe speed limit at that place, which shall be effective at all times or during hours of daylight or darkness, or any other times that may be determined when appropriate signs given notice, and is erected at the intersection or local street within a business or resident districts. While the statute requires an engineering and traffic investigation, it is my opinion that if a request were made by a councilman to the police department for a traffic study of any given area, and that such study was made and a report made to the traffic committee of the results of the study, the statutory requirements could be considered as having been met. I realize that does not include engineering, but I believe that the thorough study by the police department would be sufficient. If after the study, the police department finds that the speed limit of less than 25 should be imposed, and in their report to the traffic committee gives the reasons for such finding, I believe that would be sufficient. The traffic committee would then meet and review with the police department report, make a decision whether or not the traffic limit should be less than 25 miles. In addition, as practical matter, it is my opinion that if the above described steps are followed, the chances of anyone contesting the reduced speed limit are slim to none. In the event that such a challenge was to be made, worst case scenario would be the speed limit would have to be returned to 25 miles an hour. I also take into consideration I am coming to the conclusion that the matter would first be brought to the West Warwick Municipal Court for a ruling by the West Warwick Municipal Court judge. So, what I was asking for, different plats, Brookfield Plat, Hilltop, Crestwood, at 25 miles an hour, and John can tell you, he lived there all his life. 25 miles an hour on that road is like going 50 miles an hour on a main road. 15 miles an hour was sufficient enough for anyone. There's kids that play in that plat. A lot of kids moved into that plat. Same thing with Hilltop, Crestwood. So I would like, my next step, now that I know that we don't have to get state approval, I would put in, John, Chief, a request for the Traffic Commission, and I'll give them the names of the plats that my ward, I mean, the other councilmen probably have their own districts, but seeing we can do this on our own, and it's been going on for 6 months, so I don't know if anybody's got any questions, but
No,
that
sounds clear. Chief?
I believe you spoke with the traffic committee a while back, and we just would need like intersections and streets. It's great to say the plat, but we can't really do a whole study of the plat. You give us particular intersections. I can tell you through most of it now, I mean, knock on wood, we haven't had any accidents. We would look for that. We look for speeding violations and what have you. So we can certainly put, once we have streets, intersections, we can put up our radar to kind of gather the speeds in the area to see if they are constantly over speed and to see where we go
Well,
from
mostly
there.
what it would be is like the main roads going through, like Hilltop Avenue and Hilltop, Kathleen Drive, not every side street, but the main vein that goes into them, like Crossland Road, Glendale, Intervale.
Just come up with a list and we'll put it before the traffic committee, and then we'll be taking them and do what we can to do our study, so to speak.
I appreciate it, thank you.
I just want to let both the colonel and the councilman know that if you read that full statute, any intersection from a town road to a state road has got to be approved by the State Traffic Commission.
We don't have a state road in the plat.
You have a state road, that's Providence Street.
I'm not talking about Providence Street, I'm talking about Crossland Road.
You have Providence Street and you have Wakefield Street.
Well,
They're both-
Wakefield Street has a speed limit, I'm not trying to change
Wakefield
that.
Street's not a state road.
I'm not trying to, and Wakefield Street isn't a state road. Providence Street, I'm not trying to
According
change the
to,
speed limit.
last I was
State
told,
Traffic Commission will do the engineering study for free versus having us pay for it. That's all I'm getting at.
Thank you.
Civic Center and Ice Rink?
Jay?
Okay. I guess this is a hot button item. I've had calls on it before the agenda was even out, but which is disturbing. But I really don't want people to read into this. Basically, I'm looking for information on the Civic Center and Ice Rink, and it's not really. I guess it's specific, but it's not. It's really everything, because last year when we took our tours of all the as councilmen, we all took tours of the sewer department, town hall, police, fire, public works, and you get a half an hour to look at the entire operation and be expected to know it, which is impossible. So what I'm gathering is each meeting, or when you're dealing with different issues, you're learning more and more each time. And I don't know if John or Jay, if you can agree with me with this, but there's a lot to take in. The only thing I've been in both the Civic Center and the ice rink. But I really don't know much about it. And a lot of that is, we received a proposal on the summer camp program in February of last year. It's the only thing we've had, with the exception of a budget, which was basically a list of numbers which we received with the rest of the budget. So this is what I'm looking for, and this is what I'd like. And I think this would help all of us understand. We have a new finance director, a new tax assessor, and a new town manager. I'd like to receive a packet. I think we should all get it, in twofold. And I don't care who does it, Ernie. It's up to you as the manager. But I would like it to include taking from the perspective that I'm a renter asking for information. Why should I come and rent from the West Warwick Civic Center or the West Warwick Ice Rink? Especially when there's a new center, a new recreation center in Johnston. There's a brand new one in South Kingstown. There's ice rinks in Cranston, close by, in Warwick. Why should we come to West Warwick? Which will help us, I think, as councilmen, when people call us and say, and you believe me, I don't know about you guys, but I get the calls, how much is it? Call the ice rink. That's something that I'd like to know. So I'm looking for, everything that a renter would want. Paperwork, fees, what we have to offer a renter, times available, things that should be, that the people that work there, I'm sure, know at the tip of their tongue, but I'd like it in writing. Excuse me. And the second one is information that you would present to your boss, which I'm really took the perspective of they're giving this to you as their boss, who is brand new to the town. We have a building there. I don't know how, we've had a conversation a few weeks ago. You don't know much more than I do about it. So this would be a learning tool for all of us. Basically saying this is how we operate. We have this for staffing, whether it's full-time, part-time. All the paperwork that's involved, all the events that are run. I know Lori does a great job in creating flyers down there to promote. But I'd also like to see a detailed account of last year. And along with these first 6 months in this fiscal period. I know it's going to come out at budget time, but I really want to get a hold of this prior to the budget, because a lot's going to come up in the budget. And I think we can all attest it's going to be a lot different than last year. So, along with the Civic Center piece, though, I'd like to see the summer program review, only because we had Lori came up last February and she gave a proposal, but nothing was done since that proposal. So I think
she sent out a.
I didn't receive anything.
No.
So I would like to see.
I know she sent it out to John Semino and I thought the council was on it. I'll go back to my emails.
I don't have
I'll have to
anything.
look.
So what I'd like to do is the reason
I agree.
I want to close the loop with that. I was skeptical in February because of the numbers that were thrown out there. I still am, because we don't have anything to go by. So, and I think the only way that we could get that is a daily count, because the way the program is set up. It can't be we made $20,000 or we lost $5,000 for the whole thing.
No,
there's too many components involved.
What bothered me on that, and it's still, I didn't get a printout on how much money we brought in and how much we spent. The last time, our previous finance director and our previous town manager, and the number stuck in my head. We made $538,000 and we spent $538,000. Let me tell you something, not a nickel off, something isn't right in my head with that, because there's no way that you spent or made as much as the other. So I don't believe them numbers. I didn't believe any of the numbers that they told me for 5 years. So now I'm gonna have trust in my finance director, and I'm gonna have trust in my town manager, which I didn't have before because of them simple reasons. Something's not right. So that's my concern. I want to know what we spent, actual dollars, and how much we actually took in.
So as I can finish, I'm also looking for and this would most likely be from the staff, who are probably gonna do this anyway, because everything should be at the tip of their fingers. They work in this every day. The needs that they feel that they need for the buildings, and the wants that they want. Because I tell you right now, the Civic Center, the acoustics is awful. You know, and if, I understand we're in a financial crunch, but, again, it's kind of a wish list. I'd also like, with the summer program, and I had discussion with Solicitor Williamson last year, we could talk about liability, after one of the council meetings. And I believe, I'm very strong in liability and safety, and if we could just have the handbook accompany that, that would be great. So, and the reason I brought this up at a council meeting versus having a sit-down meeting, I didn't want to turn into a question and answer series, but to see if you guys wanted to, this is what I'd like right here, but if you guys wanted to add to anything to review prior to budget, now's the chance.
And trust me, Angelo and I have been around from two different transitions. One in 2006 to 2008 when we wanted to privatize that, and it got privatized. And that ended up being a fiasco in general because of the bankruptcy. So, and not the town's bankruptcy, the business owner's bankruptcy. So the town ended up with that, and Councilman Giroux and myself and Angelo were trying to figure out what do we do, because we have a lot of residents who use that, and yet I know a little more up there because I go up there a lot, between basketball, hockey, and whatever else I do up there. I know it's booked till March, May. It's booked solid. The ice rink is, forget it, there's no ice time. So that's a pretty cut and dry. How many hours we renting? You know, basically from 4 o'clock till 10 o'clock at night, it's booked solid in the ice rink. In the field house, I know it's booked till probably April. And soon as the nice weather breaks, some of those leagues like soccer and all that, they go outside. Baseball, softball,
I get how
they
it
all
works.
rent.
I just like
No,
to
no.
have it in front of me
And-
so I can go off it.
So I know a little more about it. The thing is, as far as revenue and expenses, do we have the right amount of head count up there? Is it feasible to be open at certain hours or certain days due to time and a half, double time, whatever it may be? You know, those are the things that we need to look at.
The other
Well,
thing
there's no
too,
over- wait a minute, there's-
yeah, they've
no
been working
overtime.
overtime.
There's overtime anytime. There's,
Wait.
Yeah,
I thought there was an overtime.
there is every day.
now, I don't know
Overtime
about,
freeze.
I'm saying,
Wasn't there an overtime freeze beginning last month?
I'm saying if it's open during certain hours, like say, and I don't think it
Look
has
at the
been.
books.
But let's say it's been, let's say Labor Day, somebody wants to rent it. You bring the employees in on Labor Day, but what do you think they're getting paid?
Won't we bring in part-timers in?
If the part-timers don't wanna work, who do you bring in?
Well, I heard some of the part-timers don't even get called.
I don't know who the part-timers, I don't even know how many people are up there, Angelo.
I mean, I don't
honestly
wanna
say
get into a debate. I didn't want this to turn into a
Right.
question and answer session tonight. That's why I didn't ask Laurie to come. I spoke with Dave today. I don't wanna ask him any questions tonight. I'd like the paperwork in front of me. At that point, I'm figuring it'll spark a lot of questions for a different time.
The only,
Well, and what I was saying, what I wanna go back to is, you know, we saw, and then we spent, I wanna say upwards of almost $400,000 to $500,000 to get that back up. 60,000 was just in a Zamboni. And at the time, we were not thinking about mothballing that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Angelo. I mean, we have a lot of residents here in town that use that. It's a very good facility. You ask why people rent it, and you look at ice time. John, you've been a commentator your whole life. You know what ice time goes for. I can build 10 ice rinks in the state. I can guarantee, I'd rather take the field house and make another ice rink right now, because you can guarantee that's pure profit. The ice rink sells itself no matter where it is in the state of Rhode Island.
I get it. I like
But-
it in writing.
Yeah, I understand.
You know,
I'm saying to you, these are the reasons, when you ask why people wanna rent, just take a look around the state. It's centrally located, people do get it, they get good rates, good ice time, you know, it's, so, I mean, and Laurie and whoever can put all that together for you, but I'm just answering what I know. So, we didn't wanna mothball that, and we put, like I said, upwards of $400,000 to $500,000 back into that building. Electrical, lighting, Zamboni, some new glass, heating systems that were defunct, and I will say, on both ends, we were kind of a crummy landlord and a crummy tenant, because nobody ever watched what was going on up there, and then we got left holding the bag, and plain and simple.
And the only other thing too,
So,
that,
well, that $500,000, Angel, I'm sorry, but that $500,000 or whatever, close $400,000 to $500,000 that we put back into that was also supposed to be paid back in a payment plan over the next 5 or 10
but the other complaints that I get, phone calls, Ernie's charged one rate, I'm charging another rate, Kristen's charging another rate, Jason's charging another rate, I don't know who. All I remember is anything, any free time, anyone who, I don't care if it's the West Warwick High School that wants to use that, or a nonprofit organization, it has to come before the town council. Lori or whoever's in charge of it, whoever, cannot say, I'm gonna give you free ice time, or I'm gonna give you free things at the Civic Center. That's my biggest complaint, and I get the calls, and that's Jason's expertise. I call him up, I go, how does it work? You were in recreation 25 years. I know nothing about it, and that also has to be straightened out and looked into. The slips that it's rented, whether it's the Civic Center, the ice rink, it should be all one flat fee. If it's good for Kristen, it's good for Ernie. Not, oh, I know Mary Ann, I'm giving Mary Ann a break, or I know Angelo, Angelo's getting a break. We have to have control of what's being paid there. And to me, nobody gets a break because it never came before us. So everything should be right down the line from day one. And that's the biggest complaint I'm getting. That's all I got to put my 2 cents in something I don't know about.
So what do you, I'm looking for a time frame. I'm thinking by January 5th, given we have a few days of the holidays, because everything should be right there at the tip of the tongue. I'm not looking for something that's gonna be done in a day. I'm looking for some detail in this. And go to you first, and then you can give it to us, so you can check it off. But I think 2.5 weeks is
Well, again,
plenty.
you know, we can strive for that. You know, that can be the goal, and we'll see if it's available. Financial information should be available. The last fiscal year, it's in their audit right now, so that's available now the first 6 months. So that type of information's available. The policies and procedure should be available, might have to be organized in a fashion, so we can strive for that unless something unforeseen happens. But, you know, that's what our goal will be, that.
Okay.
Any
A
questions?
lot of man hours before this that can do it, so.
Anna, one comment?
The only comment that I really want to make is that there was a promise that we would get monthly reports from the Civic Center, and we never got it. Judging by the history, when it suffered a bankruptcy and put us behind the 8 ball, I'm sure from what I know, people weren't paying their bills, there were debts that weren't being paid. If we're not getting that information or somebody's not paying attention, we could be right back in the same mess and not know it until it's too late. So, you know, obviously we can't change the last 6 months, but I think whoever's running it, I don't care who it is, I don't know who it is, they need to know when a report is due, it's got to come to this council. And this council has to make it available for the public, because these are our tax dollars working just as much as anywhere else. And if we have something that can actually make money, it would be nice that it's well cared for. So I really, you know, I understand what you're looking for, but I hope that it becomes a consistent need, not just once every so many months when somebody wants to look at it.
Well, that's what I'm looking for, to start off with this, in this packet, for all of us to see, so we can all put our 2 cents in. And I'm sure we all come from different backgrounds, and we'll all be looking at things in a different way. And this is the base right here.
Good, because my fear is, you know, you could be booked from now until doomsday, but that doesn't mean anybody's paying for those bookings. It doesn't mean, like he said, that certain people are paying one thing and certain people are paying, and there's nothing worse in marketing than people finding out everybody's getting a
It better
different
not be.
price.
It better not be.
I mean,
You know,
it's,
let's clarify, let's look at it this way. I don't know what's going on up there for rates, we'll get an answer for that, but I'll tell you, Saturday from 8 to 2 might be a different rate than a Monday from 8 to 2.
Oh, I'm not saying
Or-
that.
Right, but
right,
that
but
should
if,
be
if
clarified.
person A comes in on Monday and person B and person C, they all get the same rate for the same time span, that would make
I think
a
it's
lot
all
of
on the,
sense.
I think it's all on the
It's on our
website.
website.
It's on the
Our
website,
website fees are on there, it's on, they're even telling, so the fees are all there.
on the .org, westwarwick.org.
Dave, hold on. Dave, if you wanna come to the microphone, since it's yours, you can talk about it.
Sometimes things on westwarwick.org are not exactly, they don't jump out at you, let's put it that way. It needs a lot of work. Hint, hint.
Dave, this could be the last thing you say.
Go on the ice rink website, it's $240 an hour before 9 o'clock for a 50-minute hour. It's $220 after 9. That's the only fee that's there. The field house has another section of the website that explains to call the marketing agent and show, depending on how much space you want to rent and everything, the fees are determined by what you need. It's all there.
Yeah, cause I know they rented in
All
thirds.
you gotta do is
and
read it.
fourths.
We wanna see it, we don't have it to read it.
It's on the website.
I don't see how many booked it, how do I know if 100 booked it or 500?
We're talking about the fees.
Yeah, I don't care about the fees, I know what the fees are. It's who's paying them and who's not.
I'm done.
Thank you, Jay.
Upcoming appointments, Planning Board, an alternate member for a 5-year term, Technology Committee, 1 Ward 2, 1 Ward 3, 1 Ward 5, to expire 12/31/18. Sewer Use Tax Board of Review, 1 alternate member with a term to expire 10/20/21. West Warwick Housing Authority, 2, term to expire 2022. Pension Board, 2, term to expire 11/20/21. Juvenile Hearing Board, 1 with a term to expire 12/12/2017. Board of Assessment and Review, 1 with a term to expire 3/2019. West Warwick Public Library, 3, term to expire 2/2018.
With that being said, before we adjourn, I'd like to wish everybody a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, and whatever else you may celebrate. Hope you and your families have safe holidays all the way, and Happy New Year. We'll see you in 2018. Thank you.
Thank you.
I wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. To some of my, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
You too, thanks.
Ayes have it. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, thank you. Did you bake me a cake?
Really?